Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 39 of the Casual Weebs podcast. Hope you guys had a fantastic week. Listen, later in this week, we're going to be dropping our thoughts, our breakdown of Season 2 of Arcane. It was absolutely amazing. It was an incredible series, and, it's come to a close, which is sad, but we're going to talk a lot about it, about a lot of the key parts of Season 2, but also about some of the stuff that you might not have picked up on. We're going to be talking about the most likely candidate of where we're going to be going next, the next project, where region that's going to be, the characters we're going to be seeing, the story, how that's kind of going to go. Not really the story, but maybe some of the beginning plot lines. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And, we got to talk about something because we've been misled. If you know, you know, but we're dropping something big in that video. So check that out if you're interested in Arcane. But for the rest of anime this week, it just hits. It just hits. It continues to hit every week. DanDaDan. I mean, it's just stellar. It is just incredible. Blue Box. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna get into it. I was kind of hit by that, kind of in my feels a little bit. But Blue Lock, we were betting on that. We're gonna be going over that. Your boy kind of lost the bet. Kind of lost the bet. But we have plenty to talk about. Anime just keeps hitting, so let's get right into it. What do you want to start with?
That's a good question. I feel like Blue Box was definitely not what I was expecting. I was kind of all over the place with that.
I felt awful because a part of me was happy. A part of me was like, yeah, finally, because I thought like Taiki, he's been having his training arc, been doing his thing. I'm like, oh, for sure they're gonna have him go in. Maybe they're gonna, lose, get second place in doubles, but then he's gonna have his redemption and kill it in singles. No, bro got eliminated round one, and I was like, oh, yeah. It's not sticking to the stereotypical stuff, you know what I mean? It's not so predictable. But then I'm like, I feel fucking awful that he put in all that time, all that work, and we have nothing. He's got nothing to show for it. It's kind of embarrassing to him. Comes home, and then of course, Shinizu, she won. You know what I mean? So she's celebrating. He's sitting there feeling, just it's just so shitty that he put in all that time and he wasn't able to get anything out of it. That she was able to do it, and now he's got to celebrate with her, and he's happy for her, but he's also embarrassed because they made that deal, and now here he is, not living up to his end when she's delivering. You know what I mean? So I just feel for him. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was a really good episode in the sense that it was kind of a gut check.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of going to plan. Everything was pretty straightforward so far in the season, and then all of a sudden Taiki comes out and they kind of get, obviously he gets dummied in singles. I was expecting him to win a few matches or, make it pretty far, but he loses the very first match he plays. And I was kind of surprised. And, they have that little interaction, the guy from the other school where he's lost his wallet and he's sleeping, pretty carelessly on some bench, which I thought was pretty funny, but it's kind of a back to earth moment for Taiki, which I thought was good. And a little bit surprising. And like you said, Chinatsu kind of holds up her end of the deal. She makes it to nationals and their team wins, but it'll be interesting to see how Taiki kind of handles this, because obviously he's disappointed, he's frustrated because he put a ton of time in, and literally everybody at school, including Haru, was making a note of how far he's come. He's able to take a game off Haru at the end, right before the match. So everything is building up to him being solid, he might be, making a name for himself or something and come out and do really good in these singles matches, but no. So I was kind of as soon as that happened, it was whoa, all right, I gotcha, a little bit more serious. Yeah. And then obviously the doubles with Haru and Taiki, they don't beat the dude that, what's his name, Hyodo?
Yeah. The number
one guy. They can't seem to beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Haru was steaming after the match, but yeah, very, very good episode. Kind of adds to the complexity of the situation too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because that number one guy and Haru have that rivalry, and now they're I guess they're younger, they're apprentices. Are going to have that rivalry as well, because, that kid he was against around one, he lost against around one. First of all, it was a very Nagi type of guy, the sleeping, very lazy, but then just an absolute mutant, you know what I mean? So, he's that number one guy's apprentice, I feel their rivalry is going to kind of follow suit, but maybe Taiki can overcome what Haru couldn't and beat him. So, that would be cool, and that would be something to look forward to. But, where do we go from here? Because, the whole show kind of seems about, oh, he's got to go to nationals, win so that he can confess his love, and, they're together. Is there going to be another chance? Is there going to be, another tournament where he can get into to then make it? I just don't know how we go from here, and there has to be more, because she's already going to nationals. You know what I mean? So like, where does it go from here? I feel like this was gonna be the whole build up, and like, no, it's like 5 episodes in, and we're already kind of getting what I thought it'd take like a season or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it feels like the story took like a huge like turn.
Hmm.
Like I said, everything was kind of going to plan, and like you have an idea of where, the relationship dynamic's going to go. Is he going to ask her at nationals? Well, he's not. He didn't even get there. You know what I mean? He didn't even get close. So it'll be interesting to see how Taiki like deals with it emotionally. But then also, I'm sure he's going to go and support Chinatsu at nationals.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they'll be together, but I'm sure in a way he'll feel inferior and not be able to ask her out just because of the fact that he didn't hold up his end of the bargain and the fact that she's probably still pursuing her dreams and she'll be living with them indefinitely maybe and kind of maybe put him off to the whole idea that like maybe he should ask her out. That's kind of my take on it, but
Yeah, I
I'm not
just don't know.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how he'll handle it because like he's like I don't want to say depressed. That's not the right word. He's disappointed, but like the whole season so far, he's like really grown and kind of like taken a lot more on himself. So like maybe he will do a lot better than this than we're anticipating.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of like a mix because he is kind of like depressed. He is kind of like obviously very upset. Running out of the house and stuff. But like he also has that other side of him where he keeps looking forward. Not getting hung up on the past, stuff like that. It's just kind of like it's just like I'm really excited because I don't know what the rest of the season's gonna have in store for us. Because again, this is one of the animes that are getting 24 episodes. So it's like
I think it might be the only. I read that DanDaDan's getting 12 episodes in July. I don't know what's true anymore, and I'm like kind of shocked. My friend told me that, and I'm like, why does it say 25 episodes on Netflix? She's like, I guess because it's already got the second season confirmed, but yeah,
wait,
I'll
did
be
you
very
look it up? Or are you
disappointed.
taking her name her at face value, like the words?
Nah, I didn't look it up, but like,
No, no, we trust. We ride 24 and we go.
I hope I'll be
24 and we
so
ride.
bummed. I'll be so bummed, dude.
Yeah, dude, I looked it up and it said it was getting 24. It wouldn't make sense if it was like no, it would be like 12 and then just part two in the beginning of the season. I don't know why they'd say 24 if it was two parts. So I think it is 24. I'm going with that, and if I'm heartbroken, I'm
Fingers
pissed.
crossed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
But
But at least we got Blue Box, right?
yeah, but regardless, like it's gonna be really interesting to see where it goes because I don't know. I feel like when we talk about like this tournament kind of things that go on, like the timing of it just doesn't seem right. Like it's hard to understand because like I said, we were talking about this several episodes ago on the podcast. That like there's usually multiple of these tournaments. You know what I mean? There's usually like multiple of them. So it's like is this the only one that he can get in and win? Because like if this is the case, well, isn't she graduating right after the thing? Like yeah, how's that gonna play out? You know what I mean? It seems like she's gonna be gone, regardless of if she stays around or not. Like she's gonna be like in college or something. You know what I mean? So like it just feels really weird. I don't understand the timing of it. I think there has to be another tournament, another chance. But I feel like at the same time it would have been said in this episode because the other girl brought that up. She's like, is there no like other like losers bracket per se? Like where you can kind of like gamble your way in or try to like make your way into a wild card spot, something like that. And like, yeah, no, this is it. He's out. So it's like, ah, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I love that. I love how it's gonna be like so unpredictable now. It's gonna be like, yo, I have no idea where this is gonna go, so I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's really hard to predict kind of like where it's going to go. Like I said, this episode kind of like makes things even more complex than they are right now. Like not in a bad way, but just like in navigating kind of the situation and the relationship end of it, like the romance end. It definitely makes things a little more tricky, but I'm excited to see where it goes because it kind of like crushes any idea of like where I thought the story would go. But you're definitely right. There has to be some kind of event or maybe whatever happens at nationals will kind of bring Chinatsu and Taiki together. But I'm sure regardless, we'll get a little bit more time with them before the development of like the actual end of the season. But I'm excited to see where it goes because I really don't have like a good guess. I don't feel confident about whatever my guess would be, but I feel like that's good story writing too.
Exactly, where you're not able to make that prediction. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like it
Yeah.
just we're at your will. Take us on your journey. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
absolutely. So
Yeah.
yeah, very good so far.
And the romance there just still hits as well. Like when he was asleep and he wrote down like I have to make my smashes hit, and then he wakes up and then he sees that she wrote what is it, and I got to make sure I hit my shots. Like dude, that was just like that was just so sweet. You know what I mean? So I hope we keep that
Very.
up, and I hope yeah, dude, I just hope we get a nice full 24 episodes and it just hits right and it's good. I want to look it up real quick because I just looked it up. DanDaDan does only have 12 episodes, so Google's a piece of shit that lies all the time.
Netflix, you too. Liar.
Okay, let's look up how many episodes Blue Box will have. 25. Okay. It says
At
starting on
least we got
October
one.
3rd, 20. Okay, so it is getting 25. That is guaranteed. That is official until next week. And then they're going to be like, nah, just kidding.
Yeah,
So,
calling audible.
yeah, so we are going to get a lot of Blue Lock. I mean, not a lot of Blue Box, I mean. So I'm really excited to, yeah, see where it takes us because they got to have a lot in store. So I'm stoked for that. And we got to see, how he bounces back, Taiki. I feel like he's going to bounce back well, but I feel like it's going to be a little rough, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's like kind of grown a little bit this season in maturity, and I think he'll handle it well. But as you know, teenage boys, angsty boys tend to do, he'll probably like stuff it down and maybe have to like have an outburst, or I'm sure he'll get upset at some point. Maybe talk to somebody because
Yeah.
I'm sure he's frustrated, but he'll move on. I think he'll be good.
Yeah, but speaking of DanDaDan, I think we should switch right over them because that episode was fucking hilarious, bro.
Really good, yeah, dude. Like, talk about misunderstandings. And I literally put something in my phone
Hmm.
that was like, I saw this like manga spoiler where he's like really in shape and like he doesn't have that like I don't know mob psycho look where he's just like all skin and bones. You know what I mean? He's like actually in shape. Like Ken's a little buff.
Yeah.
And then of course like Granny Psycho's like, yeah, 500 push-ups, 500 sit-ups, like 1,000 squats. And I'm like, yo, why is every anime workout regimen like impossible? I would be dead the next day if you even tried that. And he's like, yeah, let me just do that at school real quick. I don't know. I thought that was super funny and like such a classic trope, like some crazy workout in the middle of your school day.
What I thought was hilarious was Ira confessing her love for him. That's what got me. That was my focus from this episode.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that? Are you kidding me? This girl's fucking in love with him? Like, bro, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it anymore."
I love how like they're at Granny's place and Momo's place and like whatever she comes back and says whatever she says to him like why did you save me and Momo was like yo like what the hell was that like they had a moment like what's going on here like she was super suspicious right away.
Well, it was like right when she left, she gave him that look, and then she started blushing, and then she like ran off. Mom was like, "The fuck was that?"
Yo
Like,
yo no.
it's funny too because they were just like fighting. They were just like eating their food and like screaming at each other, and then she just has this weird moment. She's like, "What is going on here?" Like, I'm so sorry. Did I miss something? Like what
Yeah,
the fuck? And then it happened a lot at school. And then Momo was like, yo. And that's where it kind of brings up this very interesting thing where it's like, is there going to be something between Ken and Momo?
I think so definitely just seeing how
I
she
didn't
behaved at
until
school
now.
like after they had brought it up that one student was like
Mhm.
oh Momo's cute like give me her number and Ken gets upset. I'm like I think something's gonna like blossom there, and just the fact that they've been through so much like strange shit together,
Yeah.
like I bring two people, closer.
Hmm.
But yeah, kind of seeing her reaction to like the whole misunderstanding between Ira and Ken definitely like kind of sealed it for me. There will be some element of like romance or a crush there. I don't know how like deep they'll play into it or like if there's confessions and all that, but there's definitely feelings both ways, I think.
I mean, Ken fighting, I didn't necessarily think that would mean anything. Because, first of all, he's awkward. Him then realizing that Momo's cute, he would make him, like, he's socially awkward. Yeah, that would make him, like, really weird about it. But also, I think he'd be more so protective. Because they've both been protective of each other. And, like, you can see that from, like, being best friends. Like, hey, only I get to fuck with them. You know what I mean? Like, you back off. So, like, from that, that's kind of the vibe I got from that. But, yeah, when Momo gets jealous like this, it's like, yo, like, she's into him whether she knows it or not. Like she got very,
Yes.
very jealous multiple times this episode. Because I mean, she even brings up, she's like, "Oh yeah, what, you got another girl?" And she's like, "No, wait." And she's like, "I'm gonna go get a drink," and then like
I need to go
stalks him.
find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then finds him with Ira on top of him. It's a complete misunderstanding. But then she like gets livid, and it's like, yo, like something's definitely up. And then that leads to the aliens are back. And you know what? Like, I feel dumb about this because, okay, first episode, we get Turbo Granny, right? Because remember, it started off with him being like, oh yeah, aliens are real. She's like, no, ghosts are real. And then they send each other to the places, and, that's where we meet Turbo Granny. And she's been a part of this ride the entire time. Well, why wouldn't the aliens be there too? The aliens from episode 1 are back. I feel like that, yeah, of course, they're going to be a part of this as well. It's not just going to be spiritual, you know what I mean? We're going to have both spiritual and alien shit. So I feel like these aliens that keep coming back are going to be a big part of the story and are going to be along for like multiple episodes, maybe even seasons. I just felt dumb like when they came back this episode where I'm like, yeah, why didn't I think they'd be back? If Turbo Granny's here the whole time, like why wouldn't they?
Especially because that like I don't know what you want to call it, that like veil that comes down over the school and it's like pitch black outside, really similar to episode 2.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh yeah, there's another spirit, school's getting, you know, taken over or whatever. But then we see the Serpos are back, the aliens, and it was like, oh yeah, like right, I forgot they were trying to harvest their organs, specific organs, like but it was kind of cool too. We kind of saw how they have like, I don't know, powers or like weapons to kind of like
Combat his powers.
Yeah, the whole like spiritual aspect of their powers. Like they had Ken pinned and, you know, unfortunately stripped down. Everybody's after my man's priceless junk, apparently.
He's still missing a nut, bro.
Others.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the full package back.
He's like, oh, I'm still missing a testicle. Like, damn, poor Ken. Really going through a tough period in his high school career.
Yeah,
But
can't catch a break.
And that I want to say it was like an alligator / dinosaur thing, like very weird creature, but like super badass. It like pulls in all that water and shoots that beam and like totally crushes the school. Really, really badass scene. Momo like just ducked like into the right spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's crazy because like this episode was so good because the first part was again the romance side of it, you know what I mean? You know, the funniness, you know, kind of seeing what this trio is going to be like now, and it's like, oh, this is very fascinating. Again, they keep us on our toes where we would never expect Ira to like confess like that. But then the second part really kind of like again throws us through an absolute loop. Like, okay, we get it. We get it. We can't predict what the fuck's gonna happen. Okay, we got it. You don't have to keep doing this because not only are the aliens back. We have all this cool stuff where apparently the aliens can combat his powers and, you know, take them away, you know, temporarily, like suppress them. But then Ira gets powers. You know, she has her other form too, just like Ken. And that looks so sick. I'm like, okay, like, are you kidding me? So she's not going to be like useless or like an idiot necessarily all the time, but like she's going to be her own kind of version of like, oh yeah, I can fuck shit up too. Like, I never saw that coming. Never.
I figured once Acrobatic Silky kind of like gave her aura to Ira, that she would have like powers, but the fact that like they wasted no time and like she's transforming the next episode, I thought was really badass. And it just kind of like solidifies her spot in the group as like whatever you want to call this group. They're not like seeking them out, they're more like defending themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got powers, she's like a part of the group for sure.
Well, I thought she'd have powers in the aspect of the powers that she had already, where she can like see stuff, you know what I mean, kind of interact, not like turn into like full on like Ken mode, you know what I mean? Not to mention, she looks a lot similar to Ken's kind of build, where the like it has that same mouthpiece type thing. It's like very similar. It kind of makes you wonder: is there like a certain like term that's gonna be kind of called for? Because like we kind of compared that to like, you know, Chainsaw Man, you know what I mean? Is that gonna be kind of like how like the, you know, the half devils kind of like look or something, you know what I mean?
Very good point. Yeah, we haven't really gotten any backstory or really any information at all, other than like what Turbo Granny has kind of given us, which is very little so far, as far as like transformations and spiritual powers and what the aliens, you know, can do and like their stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting, and I'm sure we'll get some more of that hopefully by the end of the season, because now that we know it's only 12 episodes.
God, that's heartbreaking, bro.
Yeah, but like now that we know it's only 12 episodes, it'll be kind of cool or interesting to see like what we get out of the last 3 episodes, because I think that was episode 8 or 9, right?
Yeah, and like the cool thing is that you're saying that your friend was saying was that it's gonna be coming back early next year. You know what I mean? Is that what they were saying?
I want to say they said July, but for me, that's like, at least I guess it's announced, like we definitely have a season 2, but
yeah, that's a decent
that's more than
amount of
half
time.
the year, you know? Yeah, that's a wait, bro.
That's it's kind of crazy, but like, you know what? At least we get it, and it'll be back in no time. It'll feel like no time. You know what I mean? We got plenty to look forward to.
True. There's a ton of movies and like good anime coming out. You know, plenty of stuff in January, so it'll be here before you know it. You're
Not
right.
to mention, there's a ton of stuff to watch. I mean, like, like we said, there's a ton of stuff that we don't talk about that's hitting. I've been catching up with like Shangri-La Frontier. That's been fucking awesome. Like ReZero, there's a whole lot. Like we're gonna get into a whole bunch of stuff, but like yeah, well we have plenty to still keep us captivated until then. But so far, yeah, definitely excited to see what they do in this 12 episodes. It kind of sucks how it's going to be, ending sooner than we thought. But like again, they have been keeping up with a pretty fast pace. It feels like we've gotten through a lot. So like I'm still pretty happy with it. And I feel like they're gonna end strong.
You're definitely right. The pace has been like a lot faster than I expected, but yeah, they'll finish strong. And like you said, before we know it, we'll be back at it. And I feel like it's always good to give them a break. I mean,
Yeah.
24 episodes is really nice as a fan, but as long as like the product is quality and like we're enjoying it as fans, it's worth it. Whatever lengthy wait we have,
Yeah, but who's the asshole that told us it was gonna be like 24 episodes, bro? No, like
Well,
I
I
looked it
blame
up too.
Netflix.
I looked it up too. Like and that, and yeah, and like Netflix said it. Like there's a couple places that said it. Like what the fuck? Don't give me hope and then take it away, you sadistic
You lied to
shits.
us. You lied
Yeah.
to us.
Oh my god, bro. It's. I can't. But yeah, so far definitely amazing. Because we say it every week. I mean, the way that they just keep us on our toes and like completely throw these curveballs is absolutely immaculate. So like I can't wait to see what they do for a season finale. To be honest.
Yeah, I really have no idea like kind of where we'll go or what we'll run into if we're like beginning an actual arc here and get like a bigger arc started before
Mhm.
this next season, kind of leave us on a cliffhanger. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a possibility, kind of get more into the alien side of things because we've dealt with mostly like the supernatural stuff
Hmm.
in this season, which would be really cool. It'd be a nice like fresh, other path to go on.
Yeah, I agree. But let's switch it over to some Blue Lock. Yeah, I kind of dropped the ball
Hey,
here. We kind of heard something that was pretty insane, and it kind of like made it, obvious. We took a bet. Is Ring gonna score? You said yes. I said no. And this was one that like we did one bet where it was like oh, I forget if this was the bet where I was just kind of going to oppose you or what, but like it was kind of like a 50-50 if he was going to score or not. Up until Ego was like, oh yeah, Rin hasn't unlocked his like he hasn't like awakened yet. I'm like, what do you mean
you're
he
like,
hasn't awakened yet? Like what are you talking about? So the question is, how many goals will he score this game? Because the animation with him completely flew off the deep end. Like the animation with him was immaculate. It was just full
hell yes.
encompassing with ego and just like oh my god. And like I still don't think he's awakened yet. Even after that insane goal, even after everything that transpired, I feel like there's still more to be seen from him, which is just absolutely insane. And you kind of forget that, like, yeah, out of everyone in Blue Lock, he's the one person who hasn't like taken that next step. 'Cause he was already on that level when he walked in. It shows how insane he is, but also how now everyone's starting to not catch up to him, but now start to get to a point where they can push him. And he's in a game, and he's finally in an opportunity where he's against people that are forcing him to then awaken, to excel, to evolve. You know what I mean? So when he takes that next step, I think it's going to be absolutely shattering. It's going to be insane. I mean, this episode was crazy. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm stoked. I can't wait.
I thought it was really good. Like I like that you made the point that like the animation kind of took a step forward. I think this was
Hmm.
like the best episode of the season as far as like quality and like detail go.
Yeah.
Like when Sty hit that corner in, like the animation of like that ball arcing across the field and like them running up for it.
Yeah.
Like the scene when Chigiri takes it up the right wing. There was like some really really cool moments in there. So I was like, all right, give some credit there where it's due.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but Rin's goal was really sick and like also that would have been like the craziest fucking goal ever scored. Like the difficulty of that shot, like your opposite leg, like the outside of your foot. I was like,
Hmm.
that's incredible. That's really sick. So like, um, the quality and like intensity is really good, but it was really cool to see guys like Oliver Aiku be like, all right, I underestimated Blue Lock. Like these guys
Oh
are,
yeah.
they're definitely legit. Like it was cool to kind of get like Blue Lock is legit. And then like
Hmm.
you were saying, Ego was like, even though even though Rin is like Blue Lock's best player and has been their best player, like he has yet to kind of reach his full potential. And Isagi is kind of the guy that's pushing him and helping him, focus in on that. He's adapting his play style and letting, his like creativity and ingenuity kind of show through. And like, I think it's Aiku who says it. Maybe it's somebody else, but he's like, yeah, you're definitely the little brother of a genius. Like, kind of gives Rin
Yeah, he did say it.
I want to say it's like a compliment, not really a compliment because he's
It's
still comparing him to Sai, but it's a
it's definitely a
pretty good
compliment.
comparison.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
fuck. Like, there's like nine things to talk about over that. Yeah. So, like, first of all, the difficulty of that shot, he did that right in front of Oliver's face, like right in front of the best defender's face. Like hello, and it was a last minute decision too. It's not like oh he's setting up, he's preparing for it. It was a last second. Okay, shit, let me just try this, and then it was like, holy fuck, you know what I mean? Like that was absolutely insane. And just leading up to that was insane. Ego talking about like yeah, like okay, well, what happened? Well, that all started with Ren. Ren's the one that improvised, that was able to adapt and get that initial, goal set up. And he's like, and the thing is, Isagi saw that and instantly followed up. That's when I, have the quote, Isagi is necessary for Ren's awakening. It's insane that, like,
Yes.
he noticed that Ego saw it, but then just Isagi, just the honor of that, and also the now being skilled enough to be able to be that catalyst to then awaken Ren is absolutely insane. It's just like I can't wait to see that, and it also just goes to show like how good Isagi has gotten. Where like even Ego noticed it, where he was like, yeah, Ren did something genius. Yes, that's the younger brother of a genius, but it's like Isagi was just able to then follow up on that. Because if Isagi wasn't there and he wasn't able to like, keep that going, well then that ends right there. Rin started it, but it's the skill and the foresight of everyone on Blue Lock to then follow up and take advantage of it. If it was the other team, if it was U20 that was with Rin, that wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? So
100%.
it kind of goes to show and give respect and like props to Blue Lock, but then also like you can see why his brother Sai is pissed about U20 because those strikers are not it. Like bro, that offense is rough. He's even saying how he's trying to set them up all the time and they just aren't scoring. And then that kind of brings us to the end of the episode where we see Shido on the sidelines, foaming at the mouth. His serial killer look, like a crazy look, and
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you can just tell, like he is going in. Next episode, we're seeing him in there.
Hell yeah. I like the point you made, kind of about Bryn starting that whole thing, because that's a really
Mm-hmm.
cool callback to the previous episode where he's like, he first gets that ball off the like restart when it's 1-1,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, oh, they're on me. He's like, I'll change it up and make short passes now. And it's like him, Bachira, and Isagi just kind of like tic-tac-toeing their way up the field. And as soon as he's like, yeah, I'll do short passes, Isagi's like, oh, short passes. He's changing his attack plan. And then we get kind of like the full circle or the full scope of it this episode. So I was like, damn, that's really good writing. Like from not just like a soccer or a sport perspective, but like just from a story writing perspective, I was like, that's pretty cool. And it makes both of them like even more badass when you see the goal come together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I want to say I can't remember all their names, but Gagamaru is the goalie, and whoever the long-haired, like flamboyant, marvelous
Oh,
guy is.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Marvel dude. I love that dude. That was a crazy save, dude. I wasn't
No,
expecting that.
that was so badass because like right before that, obviously we have Rin's huge goal to take the
Mm-hmm.
lead, and like you have the goalie like stretching out, and the ball just misses his hand, and I'm like, this like tense scene. I'm like, oh shit, are they about to tie it up like right before the half? But that save was really sick, and the fact that he like hit it with his leg, the defender, very very cool. Like that was a really cool way to cap off the first half, and like I would say for like 2.5 episodes, this game's been like very very intense so far.
Oh, dude, it's been everything we've wanted so far. Like, I'm all for it. And, like, that's the crazy thing where, like, they make that insane save, and, like, you think it's going to go in, but it's not. And then it kind of just shows where, like, the damage is done. This whole thing, if Blue Lock was a success or not, like, it's a success. Everyone can acknowledge it. The only person who can't accept it is that, like, fucking politician dude, foaming at the mouth, wanting to get rid of them, who's, like, losing it watching this game. Everyone else is having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
Like, this is the greatest soccer we've ever seen. Can you imagine if this was real? It would be insane. It would be, like, the most watched game ever.
Oh, 100%. Sai makes the comment like, oh, or maybe it's Aiku actually. He's like, I underestimated you guys
Yeah.
because I thought you were just like your typical Japanese footballers that like listen to your coach, you execute everything he says, right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you play. There's like a ton of, I would say like maybe a dozen like really elite Japanese players like
Mm-hmm.
throughout different leagues and stuff, which I kind of thought was like a funny like maybe like comparison to real soccer.
Yeah.
But there's some like absolute studs out there that are Japanese. So
Well,
like it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like I feel like there is an edge to Blue Lock that is maybe like realistic.
well, like, you forget, like they're against U20. Like, the strikers on U20 are still supposed to be, even as a defensive team, are supposed to be the best in Japan. So you have
Yeah.
Blue Lock just fucking embarrassing them, just sitting there scoring the nastiest goals, having this like cohesion together where they're able to make these plays go down and execute. And you got to remember, not all of them, like they're all strikers playing as a full team. A lot of them aren't playing the positions they're supposed to be playing. So the fact that they're winning is like insane. The fact that they're like embarrassing this like absolute stud of a defense, like this absolute best defense in the nation, and arguably kind of like the world. You know what I mean? Because like it's a renowned defense for like the U20s. All the other nations. So it's like they're like really showing just how good they are and how amazing it worked. Blue Lock worked. Then Ego's idea. So that's why I feel like it's kind of out the window now. I think, yeah, Shido's gonna be going in because it's like, dude, the damage is done. No, we gotta win this game. We can't lose this. So they already know that Blue Lock can score. Let's just show them. Let's use some of that firepower for ourselves. Why have this weapon and then not use it? You know what I mean? Like you already failed, bro. If you're trying to shut down Blue Lock and make it look like pathetic and like it didn't work, like, it's not happening. It's people are foaming at the mouth looking at Nagi and Rin's goal because it's stellar.
So good.
So, yeah, I feel like he's going to go in, and I feel like that's going to get crazy. Because I feel like that's what's going to turn up the heat and make it a very high-scoring game.
Just real quick, when Nagi was like, after he scores that absolutely ridiculous goal, he's standing there with his hand up. I was like, oh, wait, this is cringe. I was dying. I'm like, so self-aware. We've all been there, Nagi. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, he's on the ground. He's like, yeah, and he's like, it's kind of cringe. And he's kind of just still standing there. He's like, am I done? And then he gets tackled. Oh my god, then that brings up, then Izuki tries to tackle Rin, and Rin just like steps to the side, and he face plants. And he's like, I'm not celebrating with you. It's like, that's the duo we love.
Yes, dude, I love that.
Rin and Izuki, they're my favorite duo. Like, they are such, like, I want to see them play more. You know what I mean? I want to see them stay together.
I had to unfollow, like, the Blue Lock hashtag on Instagram, because I saw a little too much, but like,
oh no,
of the manga, yeah. I mean, it's sick, and I didn't like spoil the ending of the game. But I have a pretty good idea of what happens.
I don't want to know.
Like, no, I don't either. So I'm like, all right, I hate to do this because like it's always cool seeing like manga panels, but I'm like, I don't. Maybe in like 2 months. And we can come back to this.
Yeah. I'd rather get spoiled after the season ends because that's when we're kind of looking for it. Right now, I'm just like, I want to keep as much of it fresh. You know what I mean? I don't want to get spoiled on any of this shit. It's amazing. It's so good.
Nah, 100%. And I don't think like any of the U20 stuff. I really don't know like what happens, but I think we were dead set right. One, it's gonna like it'll like reflect really well on Sai and his like genius, bringing Shido onto the U20 team, and his like time with them, his experience, and I mean, he was the number 2 player on Blue Lock. He's literally their best player, not named Rin.
Yeah.
He will kind of like, I think, really influence the game and make it a lot harder on Blue Lock because he knows the players. He's obviously one of the best of them, and he's playing with somebody like Sai, who's a midfielder, so he's going to get Shido the ball. So I could see him scoring like 2 or 3 goals and being like an absolute offensive weapon because we saw him at the end of the episode just salivating, like menacing on the bench. There's no way he doesn't come in and make an impact.
Yeah, and when he comes in, that Blue Lock's going to step it up. That's going to fire them up even more. And then they're going to get, like, so excited to, like, outdo him. Because that's something we saw. And I don't know if it's Sai or if it's Sei. But, like, I hate, like, mispronouncing names. You know what I mean? We get called out for it all the time. What do you want? Okay?
Do my best there.
I feel like, he's the one who scored, right? And I feel like that already, like, activated something in Rin where I was like, okay, I want to do that. So if you have somebody else who's that egotistical and that skilled on the other team, it's just going to keep accelerating that burn, that desire to keep outdoing it and outdoing each other and feeding and devouring each other. So I feel like it's just going to like amplify Blue Lock as well. It's going to be one of the things that just like turns it up on the field entirely. But also, I think Sei has proved that he is good enough to control Shido. That's something that Ego said. He's like, none of you guys are even close to being able to, control a guy like him, to make him shine. He's just so far above all of you. And I feel like dude, Ren's brother, I mean, he's able to. Like he's above Rin. I mean, he is. He's just like he's a midfielder doing this. So I feel like watching that duo, that connection's actually like super fascinating to see how that's gonna work. I really want to know how he's gonna how that team's gonna like gel. You know what I mean?
I think they'll be lethal. I could see them kind of doing it on their own and like kind of pushing the team out and like focusing just between Sai and Shido because, like you said, he's the talent and the position as a midfielder to really bring the best out in Shido.
Yeah.
And knowing the lack of defense that Blue Lock has, they don't have great defenders.
So
kind of highlighted it. Yeah, it's like a perfect advantage for the U20 team. And obviously, Shido knows the ins and outs of Blue Lock. I think that'll be a huge tipping point that maybe wins U20 the match. I think it'll still be close. Like, they're not blowing Blue Lock out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Shido might be the X factor.
Well, here's a crazy thing too. It's not that his specialty isn't even like dribbling or anything like that. It's inside the box. That's where he really excels. So when you have Sai or Say who's able to like get the ball in there perfectly, I mean, it's over. You know what I mean? There's like all he has to do is just sit there and just wait, and then it's going to get set up, and you're going to see some of the grossest goals. And, you know, Blue Lock, you know, they have some, like, really talented people still that have attributes that, like, help them, you know, play those positions. So, like, they're not, like, useless. Like, they are still, like, pretty damn good. But, like, yeah, I feel like a lot of that's going to get exposed, and it's going to be something to watch. I still think Blue Lock will kind of pull ahead here, but, like, yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm so excited to see the next episode.
Me too, like, because I think Shido's physicality and his size, and like he's a true soccer striker, being like that big motherfucker in the box who's like intimidating and just like literally finds the ball to the goal, whether it's your body, your feet, your head, like that to me represents like it. He's like the Erling Haaland type player, just that super strong, big bodied guy.
Yeah.
And like versus the Blue Lock defense, especially their size, like height wise, I think will be a huge problem. So I'm really excited. I think the animation kind of took a step forward this episode. So they're locked in. I'm super excited to see these next couple episodes.
So a couple things before we move on real quick. So first of all, that Glamour guy has an insane vertical and he's really tall. So that could be used as an advantage. Two, shit, what was two? I remember three. I don't remember two.
The guy with his like hair in his face.
Yeah. The second thing though is okay. I guess I'm skipping on. I don't remember, but
He's like, yeah, just skip it.
I tried. I can't remember. But the third thing is that one of my viewers brought up this horse girl anime, and I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck are you
Uma
on?
Masume?
Is that it? I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck are you on about? Like, what are you guys talking about? Because he brought it up. Of course, a clip or two appeared on my shorts reels. Bro, it looks like Blue Lock animation. I'm like, this is where the animators went. This is where the animation went. The animators jumped shit from Blue Lock to this horse girl anime. It's like, the animation's sick. I was watching it. I'm like, what the? Am I about to watch this? Why is this kind of sick? Like, what the fuck?
All right, I'm about to dive deep in a deep cut right here.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
in Japan, I went to a Psy Games exhibit just because they had ridiculous art and like all kinds of like big ass statues and shit. And Psy Games made the Uma Masume game or Mama, whatever it is. They're all those characters are based off real horses that raced in Japan and were like legendary horse racing.
Okay.
So like that anime had a ton of money, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember looking at it and I'm like, this shit is fire. It was like a huge success. The game is like a huge success, like a mobile game. Yeah, so Blue Lock not quite that fire, but like there's a lot of lore in that anime that like I had no idea it was that deep. My friend was like, this shit is legit. Like, you should watch the show.
It's a
like,
really weird
okay.
concept, though. Like, horse girls, like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is... I'm not this low yet. You know what I mean? Like, we got time before I reach this point.
Yeah.
But then you watch it, and then you're like, I saw the clip of, like, the race, and I'm like, okay, well, the race is sick. Is if the story is good, or if the story is just weird as fuck. So that's something I might have to, like, look into. Maybe that's something we dive into for the winter season. Maybe that's something we take a look into. Because it's 2 seasons. It's 2 seasons.
Maybe
It's
we
second
make a little
season,
video on that. Because I'll show you like the pictures I have from that exhibit. They had like the real horse that won whatever race or cup.
Yeah.
And then like the cute, adorable like horse girl anime character like they turned into in the future.
But like they look like egoists the way that they're animated. And before I forget, I remember the second thing.
Super sick.
I remember the second thing. So we didn't address this because it was like a couple episodes ago. But Oliver was talking. It had the flashback to when he was a kid and how he wants to play soccer his way. But everyone's like, "No, you're a big body. Here's how you have to play soccer." And he was been forced to play that way. I think Oliver might score. I think Oliver
That
wants.
would be
Yeah,
that would be sick.
I think he has like a his own version of soccer, and I think Blue Lock's gonna inspire him to take that leap to play that game. And I don't know what else his version of soccer would be. I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna play his soccer, but I think it might be more offensive based. I don't know. I'm just assuming. So I could see him like sneaking in and getting that sneaky goal when you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like when it's close, and it's like, oh, Blue Lock stopped them, but then, out of nowhere, here comes Oliver, and he kicks it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those moments.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if he's gonna score. I don't know if his game that he wants to play is offensive or not. But I feel like he's gonna do something that's like holy shit, and it's gonna be referring back to his childhood. That was the second thing.
Very, very, very strong guess. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really like that idea.
But
I
yeah,
think you might be right.
over the winter season, we might have to check out this horse girl anime. And check
Honestly, it does look kind of sick. Like I would be about it if it's good. Like do a video on it.
Listen, guys,
I'm with you.
Like if you see the clip of them racing, it looks like they're like egoists. I mean, the animation hit harder than Blue Lock, and like you have like the flames coming out of their eyes. Like they hit that second gear, and she goes flying and runs past like two or three other girls. I was like, holy shit! Like the running in this anime is like another level. It's like insane.
Dude, they came out with a movie this year.
They came out with the second season too. That's what's out right now, and that's why it's like getting popular. Apparently, the second season is what really started to take off.
Damn, it does look really sick.
But it's like a weird cousin,
animation.
so I can't wait to see what the story is going to be about. So we might have to dive into it this winter, guys, and then make a video letting you know. Do you watch it? Do you not watch it? It might be an absolute kind of like sleeper here.
Sleeper hit, anime horse girls. Let's go.
Anime horse girls? Here we go. All right, but Yakuza Fiance. Holy shit, dude! This episode, it's really starting to heat up. Like it's getting
Really
interesting.
It's really heating up though. Like this was like the first episode in a while we saw Yoshino kind of like take charge and like go into that like persona, that Yakuza like persona that
The
she
eyes.
has. He like to keep it hidden.
Yeah.
Yes. And like people's eyes changing, I thought was really cool. Kind of
Mhm.
like gives like a serious connotation to like some of the situations. We got that a lot with Shoma in this episode, and
Yeah.
our boy finally gets his time to throw some hands and shine a little bit.
Mhm.
Shoma kicks the crap out of those guys for the second time. And I love how they like added the humiliation. They're like, yeah, you had your teeth knocked out, your nose broke, you were in the hospital getting stitches. Like,
Yeah.
ouch. Like they did some damage to them.
Yeah, dude, like this episode is crazy because, like, yeah, Yoshino shows that she's Yakuza. She reminds us this episode because not only does she kind of go like psycho at the end, but like you see just how smart she is as well. You know, Kirishima. You know, we keep seeing these little hints that like dude's a schemer. He's up to stuff. He's planning a lot. He's got a lot of moving pieces here and there. But Yoshino like knows what's up as well. Like she knew the meeting spot. She knew where the guy lived. You know, she was onto this since day one, since she got the contact info. You know what I mean? So then she's there, and then she's like organizing this Kirishima of like, here's the plan, here's what we're gonna do. Kind of reminds it like, yo, she's like a badass. Like, don't fuck with her because like she knows shit. She knew that Kirishima bugged her phone, and she switched to the tablet. You know what I mean? Like she's not to be messed with. You know, she's not some dainty little girl. Like she will fuck you up and kill you, hands down. Herself. She's not gonna get Shoma to do it. Like she can do it too. Like it's insane. So like I can't wait to see the steps that she takes throughout the series because again, it's not just gonna be people do stuff for her. Like she knows what's up. But it got absolutely insane with how everything was broken down. Now, I can't stand her. She's so annoying, and I kind of like how she got absolutely put in her place this episode, where she kind of just got, like, just dragged around. It's kind of like, hey, you're dumb, you're useless, like, just shut up and follow, because now you created this mess, we're cleaning it up, and you can't do shit to help, because you don't know how to help. You're not strong enough to help, or smart enough to help. And I love how she was on her high horse last episode, and now she got put in her place. Like, here's where you really are.
Now stocks plummeted this
Yep.
episode.
Yep.
And then like it's kind of true, like exactly like you said, like when this situation gets real or shit hits the fan, like Shoma shows up and she's like terrified, and like she just kind of was like, I mean, which is kind of natural, but like
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
seen and putting yourself in these situations, like, don't turtle up when it like fucking gets real. And she kind of does, and like she's basically a burden on Shoma at this point, who's got to fight the guy with the perm.
And who
But
got
yeah,
manipulated
everything's
too. Let's not forget, like he's there because Kirishima manipulated him. He's gonna be
totally set him up
pissed.
livid. And when his eyes changed, I'm like, all right, sick. Shoma's for real now. He's pissed off. Like, I'm excited to see how this kind of plays out. But it's like really heating up, and like for an anime that doesn't have like a ton of like fights or like technically action, I got to say it's like a very good drama. It's very well written because I'm constantly like, where are we going next? Like, what's gonna happen next? Like, very, very interesting. And this was the first time Kirishima was like not two steps ahead. Like Yoshino finally was like kind of plotting on her own way, kind of like you said with the tablet and everything. And Kirishima was caught off guard. He's like, "Oh well, how did you know where he lives?" And she's like, "Well, like she definitely is
That's
Yakuza."
for later. That's for later. She's got her
Yeah, we'll
secrets.
explain.
She's got her secrets.
Yeah, I love that. I think her grandfather would be very proud.
Honestly, like watching this anime and just each week, it's like, dude, we're gonna have to like do a video after the season 1 of like why people should watch it. So I don't feel like a lot of people are. And you're right. It's like I feel like it's got more action than you kind of give it credit for, and I feel like it's gonna step it up. But like, yeah, it's like a great drama. You know what I mean? It's just so like enticing. The story is great, and I feel like the story is just beginning. You know, when it comes to that, action drama per se, it's really starting to get heated up in that aspect. Shoma finally getting some like respect. Well, we're like some screen time respect. You know what I mean? We're seeing that like, Kirishima's not the only one who can fuck somebody up. Shoma, is that guy too. Don't mess with him. Now he's against the guy with the perm. That whole thing was so funny. Again, we said it last episode. Like Shoma's like my boy. Like I'd be friends with this guy. I love this guy. The way he's sitting there and he's like, "Come on, curls," and the guy's like, so stupid. Just so stupid. He's like, you think this is natural? I wanted it to look this way. And Shoma's just like, I don't give a fuck. Shut up. Like
he literally tells him, "Fuck off, Curly."
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah, like Shoma's just like, dude, I couldn't give a fuck. Like, no one asked if it was natural or not. I was making fun of you. Like, are you stupid? Like, I love how Shoma, like the curly perm dude, like, kept doing like basic anime kind of like catchphrases and like comebacks, and Shoma was like just like real. You know what I mean? He's like, dude, I couldn't give a fuck. Like, that's the dumbest thing anyone's ever said to me. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares about your fucking beauty salon, bud. Like, I'm gonna kick the fuck out of you. So watching their fight's gonna be really interesting too. Like, Shoma, this whole episode was so funny. He just kept cursing in his comebacks. Like, bro, he's my boy. Like, Shoma's my man. So I cannot wait to see. Good.
Yeah, dude, he is the man. Like, it's sick to see him kind of getting like some focus in the story. But you're right, he's gonna be livid, dude. He's gonna be so pissed he got drug into this,
bro. And I can't wait to see him against the perm guy, because like the perm guy, like he can fight. Like this is actually gonna be like a big bout, so I can't wait to see Shoma, of course, come on top. But then after that, go after Kirishima.
The red-haired curly dude is also like the subordinate or whatever, like the minion of another Yakuza guy. So like, hopefully in season 2, we'll see that kind of play out. Like, we didn't even get his name or anything. He's just kind of there and then walks away from Ozu. But yeah, of course, Shoma's going to do good. He'll win this time. And then that face-to-face meeting between Shoma and Kirishima, I think, will be sick. I wouldn't be surprised if they scrap a little bit, like throw a couple punches, nothing crazy before Yoshino kicks both their butts. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this all resolves and kind of Shoma and Kirishima's reaction to each other, because I know he's going to be pissed.
Yeah, and like Yoshida even kind of told him, she's like, yeah, Shoma's actually going to kill you, right? Like it's this no joke, like it's on site, So especially because like he had to go there to pick up like this dude's side piece. You know what I mean? Like that pisses off Shoma even more. But Shoma like kind of has a thing for Yoshina, or like at least he like kind of like is very protective over her, you know what I mean? So like that to him is also like very disrespectful to her. So like I feel like there's a lot of things that you're just asking for, and I just looked it up and it says Yakuza Fiance, the number of episodes is not known, but then I saw another place that says 12 episodes. So let's get a little. Wait, now I'm saying the anime consists of one season, 8 episodes in total. So again, you can't Google shit these days. Is it unknown? Is it 12 episodes or is it 8?
I feel like it's got to be 12 because there's no way they could just wrap it up that fast.
And who does an 8-episode season? Like, that is blasphemous. Okay, it's listed with 12 episodes. Is this unexpected? Okay. I think it'll have 12 episodes. For a half season, I thought this was going to be a season 2 announcement already. Okay, it's got to. Because we're at like episode 8 now. No way they leave it on that cliffhanger. So,
Nah, there's no way. I was trying to see how many like volumes the manga has, but it doesn't look like that many. So like there's not a terrible amount
mhm.
of what do you want to call it? Like content left. The manga does look gorgeous, but
Yeah.
there's like a few manga that like not everything's like week to week, so it's not like stacking up on content like something like DanDaDan or
Yeah.
something similar like on Jump.
But no, yeah, Yakuza Fiance has been absolutely killing it. That's been so entertaining. Again, Shoma finally gets some love. But then also, everything that transpired at the end, she kind of goes crazy. It seems like now it's not a fight, it's a bloodbath at the end. And fucking Kirishima proposes. So, like, things really kind of get out of hand at the end. Like, she's like, you better fight for the death, all right, motherfucker? Because if you don't kill them, you better not come back alive. And he's like, I'm in love with you. Let's get married.
And he's such a masochist that like immediately turns him on. He's like, "Yeah, we should get married. Only you will do." Like in the middle of this absolute shit show.
Yeah, like that's all he needed to hear. And he's like, "Oh my god, I need." Like, bro, he really is a piece of shit masochist. It's insane, bro. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But like that was kind of a surprise. They got like real kind of crazy at the end there. So it's like, dude, we need that next episode. Like it's getting insane.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I can't wait to see what happens like up to the end of the season, and hopefully we get a season 2 because like it's really really well written and
hmm
like I don't know, it just keeps you coming back for more. Like dying to know what happens next episode and kind of seeing how some of these fights resolve.
See, here's what annoys me, and we can go back to shitting on Crunchyroll. Is that like real simple? We can just go to the comment section because we just had episode 8, and I can see that being a last episode. I can see that kind of being, that massive cliffhanger, especially because he dropped that bomb of like marriage and like, okay, well, what about dating type of thing. So like, wish we can just go to the comment section right now and just see what people are saying, because that's what people will be talking about, how many episodes the season would be if that's it, or something like that. So thanks, Crunchyroll, fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Take away everything good in life. Unbelievable. I miss the comment section. I'll never get over that.
True that, dude. Just a good resource, for information, for opinion, if you will.
Yeah, and plus you just meet the coolest people, dude. I saw this fucking short of, I forget what it was. But this dude was like, he was riding his bike and he was riding it really fast. Oh, it was this girl. She was paralyzed, right? And it was his sister, and he was like doting on her and like, treating her and stuff. And she ended up just kind of snapping on him at some point, like, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like you just feel bad for me. I'm in this position because of you. You caused this," and said all this nasty stuff. And he ended up running out, gets on his bike, and she's like crawling out of the house trying to chase after him. Like no, no, please don't go. I'm so sorry. And he gets on his bike and starts hauling down the street. And everyone in the comment section was like, "By the way, he was riding that bike. I can just tell." And they said Truxon was going to be coming. And of course you see all the
No.
comments, and dude, someone just left the funniest fucking comment. We're like, excuse me, it is Truck-kun. Can you please be a respectable, anime
Yeah.
fan?
Uh, actually, correction.
But it's just like the way it is that. Can you just please be like a half decent anime fan, okay? Like it's
Yeah.
Truck-kun. Like let's act civilized here, all right? Not the
Get it right.
savagery.
No
But
savagery here. It's
that's
Truckun.
that's the shit I love, and you see that shit in the comment section where it's just, dude, it's so fucking funny. But now we don't have that anymore. Now it's just gone.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Rip.
rest in peace. But anything else to say on Yakuza Fiance before we move on to Blue Miburo and Miss Servant?
Now I'm loving it, dude. Looking forward to like what
Mm.
happens. Definitely a banger. Kind of a sleeper, but
Yeah.
hopefully more people check it out because it is really good.
Yeah, I just said when people are watching it because it better have 12 episodes, and we got to do a video on it because it is not being talked about enough. I'm not seeing the correct amount of shorts. Actually, I'm not seeing any shorts on it, which kind of pisses me off. Like, how am I not seeing that? Like, we need that.
True that, yeah. Video at the end of the season for sure.
Absolutely. But let's go into Miss Servant next, because Miss Servant's something that's like really starting to like pop off and kind of like get super, add some depth to it. Miss Servant's one where like I'm enjoying watching, but like it's starting to turn into a thing where it's like, is it like keeping me involved? Like if I miss a week, do I care? But then they just really drag you in at the end here because it's kind of like it got very slice of lifey. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, well they're like just chilling again. But then it started getting into Yuki's backstory, and Yuki's backstory completely threw me for a loop. I thought she would just been thrown into like the assassin, like guild, I don't know, clan, whatever it is. It's like that just kind of be her thing. But the fact that she actually was like a normal person with like a parent, like parents and a sibling, and she was actually a prodigy and well known. And then it kind of makes sense where people are like, oh yeah, well we know of this prodigy, well we want that, so they go to kidnap her, which again, like that makes sense. Like if people are crazy, they do that shit. End up killing her parents. Her and her sister get dragged into this. It is just like insane. And then the way that like she just starts losing her emotions. The way that like the rift between her and her sister. It really just adds a lot of like depth to it, and a lot of like, oh like fuck, like look, I hit in the feels this season this week. I was like, I did not expect this at all.
No, it was like really deep. I'm kind of with you. It was like very just like chill, slice of life ish, like always chasing the Katsuda sauce. But like we finally get like a moment with Yuki, whose real name was, wow, her first name, I guess you could call it, was Maria.
Yeah.
But like we kind of like, what do you want to say? Like came full circle on a few plot points. Like, well, she speaks all these languages because her mother was an interpreter. So like, she was able to teach her all these things, and like she's really good in interviews at a young age because her mother like has taught her all this stuff. So like her prodigy, I don't know what the word is, like the prodigiousness or whatever, like her genius is like there for a reason because her parents are super talented and smart, and she has like a normal successful family,
And she loved
but yeah,
learning because she wanted to have the smile on her parents' face. So like she really just obsessed over it.
yeah, so it's like, all right, this makes sense. It kind of explains a little bit more of who Yuki really is. And then we get to the fact that her parents were murdered, they're kidnapped and basically forced into this life. And we finally get like a visual glimpse of her master. Really, it's only like 1 or 2 sentences. It's a quick scene, but like, dude had a sick design. I'm not justifying the murder and the kidnapping, but cool design, good villain, well done. But like, it's kind of like you said, pulling me back in, and like, as Yuki becomes more normal and kind of, as normal as like a maid servant to a high schooler can be.
Yeah.
She's starting to deal with like her trauma and her past and her childhood, and like kind of come to terms with some of these things as she regains her memories, and like, things she did right or wrong and things that were out of her control. I think it's kind of like humanizing Yuki, and like, even though she's this badass assassin who speaks 15 languages, she's still like trying to cope and learn how to like adjust to everything that happened and her situation now, which I feel like is very like, I don't know, kind of like down to earth and real. And even though it's slice of lifey and fun, like it does have those moments where it is real, especially with Yuki.
And especially recently, because it's been like very slice of life and just enjoyable, just nice to watch. But now it's really starting to get engaging. You know what I mean? Now it's really starting to pull you in and kind of like, okay, well, we're starting to have a little bit of purpose to this. We have like some stuff to look forward to, because obviously she's just gonna want to find her sister. Try to reconcile with her. We don't know what happened to her sister. Is she dead? Is she normal? Is she an assassin? Did she kind of like that kind of heartbreak and then make her lose her emotions, and then she's like kind of going after Yuki? What's going to happen with the 9 dragons? Like now there's a whole lot to look forward to and kind of see. And then we also see a little bit of that with the pink hair girl, where like we all thought that was Yuki, who was really fast to write her name on the test, but that was the pink. Like, dude, there's something up with her. Like, I think you said it last episode, and I was kind of like, I don't know, but like, yeah, is she part of an assassination family? You know what I mean? Like now it really kind of seems that way. Because she's definitely special, the pink hair girl. She's got like skills that normal people don't have.
Yeah, and like it took a while for us to get introduced to her, because like we've seen her in a couple episodes, but like very briefly and like without much dialogue.
And she looks like a fangirl. That's it.
Yeah, like she looks, I don't know, kind of lollyish, like younger than them almost, and like she's very intimidated. We see this episode when she talks to Yuki, and Hitoyoshi. She's like super red and flustered and like kind of awkward at first. So it'll be interesting to kind of see her dynamic and like, what her family is, because we saw her walking with her older brother, I believe it was, who's like this gigantic, beastly bodyguard looking dude who like,
looking
very well
up as well.
Yeah,
like a warrior.
very well could be, some kind of assassin or warrior or something like that. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how she like fits into the character dynamic. But it feels like we're getting a little bit more, and as the season, all these seasons unfortunately come to a close, like things are really starting to heat up, especially in Miss Servant.
Dude, I've been like so like excited about that stuff. Like Miss Servants, when it was like, nice, enjoyable. Now starting to get really engaging. Start to have some depth to it. It was like, oh, a little bit of surprise there. Still being really good, but then also a lot of the stuff we don't talk about either, like 365 Days to the Wedding. That's really started to kind of get good and heat up. That's been really interesting and really funny. Shangri-La Frontier's
Yeah.
been hitting. ReZero's been hitting. It's insane that we've reached that point in the season where like things are really starting to like pop off as we start to get to the end of the season, and it kind of is that bittersweet feeling because like things are getting great and it's so exciting. It's like, dude, it is hitting harder than ever before. But now you start to get those like Sunday feelings. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, ah, the end is near. You know?
Yes, the Sunday scaries are setting in for
Yep.
sure. But like it's always the best time because episode like 8 through like 10 is like that build up for like the finale. It always
Yeah.
rocks. It's so good. But yeah, like you said, it kind of sets in like, we'll have to wait until whatever next time we get season 2 if there are animes that get season 2. Most of them will, I think, in this season, but at the same
Oh, they
time, like
have to. If they don't, I'd be amazed, to be honest. Like
most of
how?
them I think will. Like
Yeah.
DanDaDan definitely, I mean, already is. So like hopefully we get a bunch of extra content with this stuff because like May you are Miss Servant is really good. Like I don't know
Hmm.
how many people are watching it or how popular it is, but like I don't know. It doesn't have it has 9 volumes, so there's a good bit of manga there. Like I don't know. I want a season 2. Yakuza Fiance. I got to know what happens.
Yeah, the Yakuza Fiance, we definitely need a season two. That's gotta have, dude. All these need to have a season two. They're all hitting so like they're all just so good. I'm loving them all. So like, let's get into Blue Miburo. That is one that's like teetering on the edge. It has potential, but then it's like I don't know. We've always talked about it how we're like we're on the brink. You know what I mean? Each week, and this week was kind of just like it's interesting. You know what I mean? I think next week is going to redeem it a little bit. We started to get some action. We started to see them fight, which is cool.
It like really redeemed itself at the end, but in the beginning I was like kind of frustrated because once the I don't know what you want to call this guy. I'll just call him an assassin or samurai or whatever.
Yeah.
When he first approaches Hajime and they like trade blows a couple times, you're like, all right, this is going down. And then Hajime locks in for the kill with his like one sword style, and I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, sick, here we go.
Yeah.
And then fucking Neo like gets in the middle and he's like, if you strike me down, Hajime will kill you. Like basically worthless. And like he kind of uses like the talk no jutsu, and I was like, all right, this is it.
But it
But
didn't
I like
work, which is
stuck.
kind of cool, though. That's the thing. It's not like he was like,
Yes.
oh, okay, let's stand down. No, he fucking, like, nearly killed him.
So I'm like, all right, sick. I can like get with this. And then Soji shows up and like cuts him down. Like the scene where he was like, oh, it's really a shame. Like you're definitely gonna have to die now. And then a minute later, his like sword's at his throat. I was like, all right, there is like potential here, and like they finally capitalized on it. But then we get that conversation with Hijikata and Neo about like, you're very like intellectually mature for your age, and even though you're like a very understanding person, can you finish the job when you over empathize with your opponent? Can
Hmm.
you still kill? And then Neo obviously inspires confidence in him because he's like a bright faced little kid, and he says yes, so he gives him the sword. But like it'll be interesting to kind of see how he adapts and if Neo starts to grow and get like a little more aggressive or defensive, however you want to phrase that. But yeah, thankfully Soji kind of like brought the hammer down on these guys and let it live for another week for me. Because once he like got in the middle, I was like, all right, this is too much.
Yeah. But, like, and that's what is going to help with the next episode. Because now they're going to see that blonde kid that set them up. And Neo already expressed
Yes.
that he's fine with this kid dying. You know what I mean? So the way that Neo handles this is definitely going to be something where you take a closer look at. And that's the thing. It's not like Blue and Bureau is necessarily bad. It's just that Shangri-La Frontier so much better. ReZero so much better. There's a lot that's so much better. Like Blue and Bureau, I think is solid. And I think it does pretty well in any other season. But it's definitely at the bottom of the season for me.
Yeah, and it's just like such a competitive season. I
Yeah.
keep seeing clips of ReZero. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm like, damn, this shit looks sick. So that's definitely something I got to catch up on. But at the same time, you're right. Like maybe in like the spring, this would have been like a little bit more hyped up or a little more popular. But when
Yeah.
there's so many big things, and we haven't even touched on like Bleach, which I've seen was really, really popular and good and all that. Just like kind of maybe bad timing, which timing's everything, but yeah, definitely at the back burner for some of the competition this season.
Yeah, it's a rough season. Like, there's
A lot of
just so
potential though.
much. There's just so much that's amazing right now. So it's impossible. You know what I mean? They got put in a tough spot. Even the winter season, we're gonna be doing a winter preview. I guess that's gonna be coming up soon. So we'll do that video, and like, maybe, that would have done better then. Maybe it came out a little too soon, but yeah, definitely an amazing season so far. Just in general, like the fall season has been absolutely incredible. Lived up to the hype. Lived up. You know what I mean? Like, when we like hyped it up in the preview, been, oh my god, this could be phenomenal. Yeah, it was. It lived up and exceeded expectations easily.
You're 100% right. And I'm always like try not to hype things up too much because I'm like, in a way, like easily impressed, but I'm also like a big fan of anime. And it's
Yeah.
easy for me to be like, yo, that was really sick. Where some people are a little more critical or like they like what they like. I feel like on every front, there's a couple anime, at least 2 or 3 for whatever you're into. This season really has delivered, and it is. I mean, it's not anymore. It's Peaktober, peak Bember. I don't know. You know what I mean? We got
It'll
November,
always
December
be
here, but
Peaktober. You know what I mean?
it's Peaktober the rest of the season. I don't care. But it's definitely delivered, and I feel like, yeah, the hype was as delivered, as expected.
Yeah, absolutely. But is there anything you want to add before we close out here?
Yeah, watch Arcane. I'm about to watch the finale, so get myself
Yo,
emotionally ready. Stellar. I keep laughing. You're like, yeah, I bullied people into watching. I'm like, thank you, bro. This shit rocks.
dude,
So good.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it is phenomenal. The soundtrack is godly. I added like 15 new songs to my fucking playlist. I've been crying
Yo,
all week.
um, I think it's the episode 9 of season 1.
Yeah,
Who that big fight scene? They had Periphery do like the metal soundtrack for it.
yeah.
And then I went on their Instagram and it's like them tracking him like, dude, this is so badass. Imagine like watching Arcane and like hearing your song. I'm like, so sick. Super
Dude,
cool.
they have like a massive like bands and like people involved. Like the one song, and of course it's amazing because they have like songs that are so hyped up, so insane, and then songs that are so sad. Like, the Line came out by 21 Pilots, that was just crushing in the soul.
Devastating,
And they
dude.
dropped it the day before the part 3 came out, so everyone's like, "What the fuck does this mean?" They're like, "You fuck,"
Yeah.
like, ah, and of course, dude, yeah, it was that, but. You're gonna absolutely love the finale. The finale is absolutely insane. I will say this, like, Jinx is by far my all-time favorite. She has an entrance, let's say. You're gonna be like, dude, the fucking Jinx wins. Like, it's the
Sick.
show about Jinx. Like, she's absolutely incredible. Like the whole finale is insane. Like, yeah, like season 2 was an absolute dream. It excelled in so many ways, and it's over. But they're gonna be coming off a new show, which is just gonna continue the story in another region. And people are like, dude, I don't think how can you beat Arcane? I actually think they're gonna destroy Arcane. I feel like Arcane is something that we're gonna look back on and be like, yeah, that was great, but like from a nostalgic point of view, because I feel like that they're just gonna keep excelling and pushing past, each season, each show, each project, the limits that they set the standard right now. And to be fair, we talked about it. How it's like, oh my god, 2 seasons cost 250 million. Someone actually did the math, and it's actually not that much money at all. Kung Fu Panda was more money because if you break it down by how much money was per hour of like animation, it really doesn't. It's 17 million an episode for like an hour. It's 17 million an hour, and Kung Fu Panda was like a 2-hour movie for 85 million. So when you think about it from
So,
that point of view, it's like, yo, they could easily just keep running with this.
and like Netflix, especially coupled with it's Riot Games, right?
Yeah,
Like those are 2 monster $1 billion, $1 trillion companies or whatever the fuck it is. Like they have the budget, but they've also like taken because you can have money and still come up with a shit product if you don't have like
yeah,
good creativity and stuff like that. And just to like quick touch on one of your points, like I thought after season 1, man, what a banger! How are they going to top that in season 2? And
and then
like
season 2
so far
does.
they have. So like you know what? I'm here for it. Whatever you want to put out, I'll be there. Like I think they've done a great job, and I don't remember who it was, the assistant director or somebody like kind of involved in like the writing of Arcane, called it an anime. He said there's not many endings that anime fans like, so hopefully they like the ending to our anime. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and guys, in that video, we're gonna be talking about the ending. you're gonna want to stick around because it's not what you think. So there's a lot to talk about because there's like 15 different things that you're gonna miss. So we're gonna be talking about it because I watched a bunch of shorts and they told me
Yeah, you did your homework.
because I missed them too. But no, seriously, like they're gonna excel and they're gonna destroy season 3. I think it's gonna be something like Marvel, where they're gonna keep doing a bunch of projects that keep talking about this, complete story, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be amazing. They have the money to do it, and they have the fan base to do it. So, the only thing is time. Like they have a bunch of money, but they also took the proper amount of time, which is why it excelled. It was years between season 1 and 2, so like I can't wait. It's gonna be absolutely insane. But check out that video. Watch Arcane, and if you're like, oh, I don't know, go listen to the soundtrack. Look up Arcane on Spotify. You're gonna be binging it for 2 hours and be like, okay, this is fucking incredible. And then you're gonna watch the show and you're like, this was fucking incredible. And then you're gonna play League and you're gonna get obsessed and you're gonna become addicted. And then you're gonna have to go to a support program because
Average trajectory.
Here we go. Now my camera's out of focus. My camera's too excited. My camera's like, dude, it's really good.
Let's watch it.
But yo,
So
guys,
good.
that is it. Seriously, go watch Arcane. Just watch anime. Stay inside. What is there to do outside? You know what I mean?
It's too cold. Too cold.
Too cold. But seriously, I hope you guys had a phenomenal week. Hopefully, you guys have a phenomenal rest of your week. Let us know down in the comments down below. What are you guys enjoying the most from this absolutely stacked season? So that's it. See you guys next week, and peace.